Let's talk about the world of finance. It's a place where every single second, every decimal point really matters. And right now, it's in the middle of a huge technological revolution. Artificial intelligence is promising to bring incredible efficiency and insight. But, and this is a big but, it also brings a whole bunch of really complex human challenges. So let's dive into the promise and the peril of AI in finance. So let's start with a reality that might actually surprise you. In this age where we expect everything instantly, a lot of finance departments are, well, kind of stuck in the past. They are absolutely buried under a mountain of manual, repetitive tasks. And this isn't just work that eats up a ton of hours, it's the kind of work that completely stifles any real innovation. Just get a load of this. It can take, on average, 11 days to manually process one single invoice. 11 days. That's almost 2 full work weeks lost on just one transaction. Now you can see how that kind of inefficiency stops a finance team from focusing on what really matters, which is, strategic growth. So this all begs a pretty critical question, right? With its incredible ability to analyze, predict, and automate things at basically superhuman speeds, can AI actually be the fix for these problems? Is this the key that's going to unlock a whole new era of financial management? The potential is, well, it's undeniable. But AI's role in finance is about so much more than just automating a few tasks. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how things are done, moving away from just reacting to past performance and toward a proactive approach that actually shapes future strategy. At the very heart of this whole transformation is a technology called decision intelligence. Think of it as this powerful mix of machine learning, automation, and business logic, all rolled into one platform. And what you get is the ability to make decisions that are faster, more precise, and just way more sophisticated. And the impact of decision intelligence, it's huge. It's being used across the entire spectrum of financial operations. From the front lines of assessing credit risk and detecting fraud, all the way to the back office stuff like regulatory compliance and processing loans. It is a total, comprehensive transformation. The data really tells a powerful story here. Companies that have jumped on board with these tools are seeing some pretty remarkable results. We're talking a 25% cut in planning costs, a 33% faster budget cycle, and get this, a more than 50% drop in sales forecast errors. These are not small tweaks. These are absolute game changers. And here's a great real-world example for you. Wesleyan's Assurance Society, they brought in a decision intelligence platform to help with the super tedious job of cleaning up their data. The result? A staggering 96% reduction in the time it took to do that. Something that used to take weeks now just takes a few hours. Incredible. So the business case for AI is super compelling, and the technology is obviously incredibly powerful. But what about the people? What about the human element? How does this massive technological shift actually feel for the credit analysts and the finance pros who are on the front lines every single day? And this is exactly where the promise of technology slams right into the complicated reality of human nature. Because when you roll out a tool this powerful, you inevitably dig up a whole set of challenges that are, frankly, more about people than they are about programming. This quote from a credit analyst just hits the nail on the head. Can you imagine having to explain to a customer why their loan was denied, and the only reason you can give them is, the algorithm said no? This is the whole black box problem in a nutshell, and it brings up some really serious questions about trust and accountability. So you end up with this fundamental tension. On one side, you have AI offering this incredible vision of speed, accuracy, and efficiency. But on the other side, you've got the messy human reality, algorithms you can't explain, real anxiety about jobs being replaced, a regulatory landscape that's constantly changing, and a pretty significant skills gap. Researchers actually have a term for these challenges. They call them institutional pressures, and they come from 3 main places. You've got regulations from the government, you've got the company's own culture, and then there's the competitive pressure from the industry itself. And these forces have a huge influence on how new tech gets adopted or rejected. And these pressures show up as very real, everyday problems for finance professionals. When an AI algorithm is a black box, it breeds mistrust. The fear of being replaced fuels resistance to change. The insane pace of tech creates a huge skills gap. And on top of all that, you've got this regulatory maze where the laws just can't keep up with the technology. So what's the solution here? What's the path forward? Well, It's not about choosing between tech and people. It's about building a bridge between the two, creating this symbiotic relationship where human expertise and artificial intelligence actually work together in concert. The real goal here isn't to replace human decision makers, it's to supercharge their abilities. It's about taking the incredible analytical power of AI and combining it with those uniquely human things like judgment, ethics, and a deep understanding of context. Now, making this happen takes a very deliberate approach. It requires a really strong framework of governance, basically a set of rules and processes that are designed to build trust in the AI system, not just with your employees, but with your customers too. So here's a practical 6-step blueprint for building that trust. First up, strong data governance, because, hey, an AI is only as good as the data you feed it. Second, you have to define human oversight. Set clear rules for when a person has to step in and review a decision. Third, implement audit trails, so you can always go back and see the AI's logic. That's crucial for compliance. Fourth, stay on top of regulations. The laws are changing fast. Fifth, invest in top-notch security. You're dealing with sensitive financial data, and a breach is a disaster. And finally, vet your AI vendors carefully. You're not just buying a piece of software, you're getting into a long-term partnership. This really represents a huge shift in thinking. For years, the whole point of automation was to get humans out of the process. But in the age of AI, human oversight isn't a weakness, it's a critical feature. It is the ultimate safety net for accountability, for ethics, and just for plain old common sense. And this human-in-the-loop idea isn't just some theory, it's already happening out in the real world. As this financial analyst from Sweden points out, they use AI to help make decisions, but that final sign-off, that final approval, has to come from a human. It's a hybrid model that really gets the best of both worlds. Okay, so what's the ultimate lesson here? After this whole journey into AI and finance, what's the key idea that goes beyond all the technical details and the financial numbers? I think the most important takeaway is this. Successfully putting AI into practice isn't really a technical challenge. It's a human one. It's about navigating all the complexities of company culture. It's about investing in your people with training and communication. And maybe most of all, it's about building an environment of trust. And that really leads to a much bigger, more profound question, doesn't it? As AI starts to seep into every part of our lives, from finance to healthcare to art, are we starting to figure out that the technical challenges, as complicated as they seem, might actually be the easy part of the whole puzzle?